I'm going to show you something that might be a little bit gross to some people, but I think it's interesting. So I'll show it, and then I'll analyze it, and then I'll tell you why I think it's interesting. It involves butt stuff. My dog's real into butt stuff. Look, I just didn't want it to be the first thing you see in this video, but I swear it's interesting. So this is naturalistic video that I filmed of this creature. Barking and doing what looks like an anal gland flexation at the same time. Flexation, is that the right word? I don't know. You know, a contraction of the muscles that cause the smelly stuff to go out. But what I've done here is match up the audio as a waveform and the video. I've also reduced the video to 25% speed. What you see in the waveform is the peak is right here, and what you see in the video is the peak of the gesture is right here. It looks like the two signals coincide. This is a simultaneous transmission across two different sensory modalities. This particular creature is not unique in this respect. You can find lots of other examples of the same species doing similar behaviors. There's already Adobe stock footage of it. Seems like all dogs do this. I'm not the first person to wonder why a dog's bark correlates with this smell emission signal. Right off the bat, I think we can eliminate that it's an anatomical necessity. I'm not like really an anatomist, but like I find anatomy fascinating. And one thing I know is that the front end is sort of a little bit disconnected from the back end. The two ends of the dog can point in opposite directions, for example. It's not like the vocal folds are pinned to the bum hole.
The vocal folds connected to the bum hole.
I found a bunch of places online where people had asked this question before, and for the most part the answers that people give are, well, you do it too, which I don't think explains why. For one thing, barking isn't coughing. A cough is different than a vocalization. For two, well, the muscles don't really make sense that way. Contracting the diaphragm doesn't automatically make the rectum shoot backwards. Okay, yeah, you can see abdominal flexing when the vocalization happens, but that's because those are muscles that are around the lungs, and the lungs are involved. So if this doesn't have to happen, then, well, why does it? Current working hypothesis is that there's an informational reason. Like the dog is responding to information, and so it wants to get both signals out and into the pipeline as quickly as possible. The thing about time is, like, we use it to make inferences all the flippin' time. You know, you assume that two things are related because the signals that you receive are at the same time. This is like how I was taught to synchronize audio and video. Like, you make a clap, and then it gives you something that has a visual signal that you can identify to a single frame, and gives you an audio signal with a specific, short peak that you can align with that frame, and then boom. You align your landmarks, and then your audio and your visual are synced up. It looks remarkably similar to what the dog seems to be doing. Only instead of aligning audio and visual, it's aligning audio and olfactory. I do not understand why. Like, why should this be the case? It's so weird. We know that there's a speed of sound. We know that there is no speed of smell, right? Smells travel at whatever speed the air is moving. Emitting a signal in two sensory modalities at once, if it's those two, you're definitely not going to get the signal received in the same order. And yet, the emission is synchronized. So maybe on the other end, there's an expectation that, like, the recipient will compensate for that. But it seems like there must be a relationship, right? Like, if the peaks are aligned across these two sensory emissions, well, probably those are two channels trying to send the same signal at once, or trying to send complementary related signals at once. This interpretation answers a question I've been wondering for a long time, which is, why the heck won't the dog stop barking? And I think the answer is because you need to keep sending the auditory signal until you are certain that the olfactory signal is received. If, like in this natural example, you are a dog trapped indoors reacting to a stimulus that's happening outside some uncertain distance away, well, you need to make a guess at how long it will take the smell to travel and keep doing the sound signal until you believe that the smell has arrived. Only then will the other party have both halves of the message and be able to interpret them properly. This means that there's essentially like a weird sort of communicative time travel going on here, right? the two halves of the signal are moving at different speeds, and so there's a discrepancy in how long they take to get there. The way the dog compensates for this is by repetition. It's elegant in its simplicity, if you ask me.
Clever girl.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can click the like button, you can click subscribe, you can ring the bell for notifications about future videos. One of the things I've been thinking a lot about is how to formalize a theory of communicative systems. This is the first video, and what I'm hoping will be a series about that, laying out some key ideas. Stick around if you want to see more.